Hi there. I just wanted to quickly show you and talk about the difference between a completely randomized design, a block design, and a matched pairs design. And I'm going to use a specific example. This example comes from one of the worksheets that I gave you to do. So let's just jump right in. So if a researcher is carrying out a study of the effectiveness of two different skin creams for the treatment of a certain skin disease, if you want to design a completely randomized design with 20 patients, remember that's when you just take all of the patients and randomly put them into however many treatment groups you need. So in this case, we're testing two different skin creams. So I would start with my 20 people and I would just randomly allocate them into two different groups. Group 1 would have 10 people, group 2 would have 10 people. And just like before, I would talk about how I would randomly allocate them. And then I would give, cream A to group 1 and cream B to group 2, and then I would just compare the effectiveness of the cream. Right? So this is a completely randomized design. So same situation, if we want to study the effectiveness of two different skin creams, a confounding variable that would really or could really affect the effectiveness of the creams is how severe the disease is. So I could use a block design to account for that confounding variable. So my block design is when I take my confounding variable and I basically separate my subjects according to that confounding variable. So we said how severe the disease is that's our confounding variable. So I take my 20 people and I divide them into, it could be 2 groups, it could be 3 groups, whatever. So I decided to stick with 2, people with mild skin disease and then people with severe skin disease. And I don't know how many people, maybe I have 15 people in this group and only 5 in this group. It doesn't matter. And again, I'm not randomly dividing them into groups. I'm being very clear and specific about how I'm dividing them. So then I basically do like a little completely randomized design within each of these blocks. So I take all the people with mild skin disease and I randomly assign them into 2 groups, 10, or I wrote 10, but this one I need 10, I'm sorry, that's a typo. I randomly assign them into 2 different groups, and group 1 gets cream A, group 2 gets cream B. And then I compare the effectiveness of cream for people with mild skin disease. So maybe I say cream A works best for people with mild skin disease, right? And then with the people with severe skin disease, I randomly assign them, again, this is a typo, into 2 different groups. So let's call these group 3 and group 4. And each of these groups, one would get cream A, one would get cream B. I would compare the effectiveness of cream now for people with severe skin disease. So now I know, which cream works for people with mild skin disease, which cream works for people with severe skin disease. And then I would still compare the effectiveness of the creams for all people. So that's a block design. Let's move on to matched pairs. I have 2 options with matched pairs, and I actually kind of tried to work this out with both options just to kind of show you. So same thing. The first option is when I pair people up based upon similar qualities that would impact how effective the skin cream is. So I would pair people up with skin disease, and I would pair them up maybe by age, gender, severity, location of disease, like what % of their body's covered in the disease, how long they've had it. All of these kind of variables might affect how effective my skin cream is, right? So remember, best case scenario would be think of identical twins. So think of 10 sets of identical twins. And then I would randomly assign one person from each pair into one group and one person from each pair into 2 groups. So remember, now I have two groups of people, but essentially they're the same groups. It's almost like I have a clone, almost like I have like a clone of each group, you know? And then I give one group treatment A or cream A, one group cream B, and then compare the results. Which cream is more effective? My other option for matched pairs is when you can use each person as their own match. So here's what I was thinking with this. I think I probably could also do this, assuming, and I'll kind of click through, but assuming that they have, like let's say they have the skin disease on both arms and it's kind of similar severity on each arm, right? So I could have each person use cream A on one arm and cream A on the other arm. But I would still randomly allocate the people into two different groups because I would want to randomize. Remember, we need our 4 principles of design. I would still want to randomize which arm gets which cream. And then I would compare the results of the cream effectiveness. So this, when I use each person as their own match, this kind of eliminates the, or minimizes the confounding variable of like how individuals react, how I react as an individual to the treatment. So that's my quick little overview. Hopefully that was helpful. And as always, please email me if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Well,